Good morning. In the last talk, we have discussed about the derivation of the phase rule. Now here, we will apply that phase rule to various systems. First, we will study one component system, and in that, we will take an example of water. This is the phase diagram for water. Now, under normal condition, this water having three phases: ice, water, and water vapor. All the three phases that can be represented by a single chemical entity H2O. Only one chemical constituent H2O. That's why we can call it as a one component system. These phases, ice, water, water vapor, are well separated by the three curves. So in the phase diagram, we are able to see curve OA, curve OB, curve OC, three curves. We can see a point, triple point O. We can see the various areas like area AOC, AOB, and BOC. Again, we are able to see a different metastable curve OA dash. We call it as a metastable curve. We will discuss all the significance of all this one by one. Now, first consider the curve OA. This curve OA. It is known as vapor pressure curve. Why so? Because it represents an equilibrium between water and water vapor. Means liquid and vapor in equilibrium means vapor pressure curve. We can easily see that this curve has started from point O and ends at point A. This point is known as critical point. Beyond this point, the two phases they merge into each other. This water and water vapor merge into each other, so this is a critical point. And whatever may be the related pressure, that is 218 atmosphere, and the temperature 374 degrees Celsius, are known as critical pressure, critical temperature. And we know that when the vapor pressure is equal to 1 atmosphere along this curve, we know that when this is 1 atmospheric pressure, that time this temperature is 100 degree. That means water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. When atmospheric pressure is 1, water is converted to water vapor at 100 degrees Celsius. Now consider any point on this curve. Suppose this is one point on any curve. It has fixed value of pressure. This is fixed value of pressure, and temperature is also fixed. That means by keeping pressure constant, if we raise the temperature, if we keep pressure constant and if we raise the temperature, means like this, we are raising the temperature, pressure is kept constant, then what happens? This phase will disappear. If we take this point and if we raise the temperature, this phase will disappear and we will reach to the water vapor phase. So equilibrium will not exist. This will disappear. So to define the system completely at any time, it is necessary to mention either temperature or pressure. Means one component, one constituent, one parameter is essential to define a system along the curve. That means its degree of freedom F is one univariant system. This is univariant system. Now we will discuss about curve OB. Now about curve OB, we can see that it separates ice and water vapor. That means solid to vapor. That means sublimation. So it is known as sublimation curve. So the two phases exist in equilibrium along this. Again, we can see that the curve starts at point O and it ends at point B. Now see, B having temperature minus 273 degrees Celsius and a very negligible pressure. Again, we can prove in a similar way that it is also having 1 degree of freedom, univariant system. All the curves are always univariant, that we have discussed in the last lecture. Now come to the curve OC, the most important curve OC. Melting point curve. Why melting point? See, ice and water melts. That's why melting point curve. Again, this starts from point O and ends at point C. C is having parameter of 2000 atmosphere and minus 20 degrees Celsius. It is having temperature of minus 20 degrees Celsius. At this point, one type of ice changes into another solid modification, but the solid liquid equilibrium it still remains. Means solid may change its phase, but it will be still in equilibrium with water. Now again we can say that it is a univariant system, F is equal to 1. Now the main thing which we have to discuss here is that the line OC is inclined towards the pressure axis. That is, it is having negative slope. It is inclined toward pressure axis, having negative slope. That means melting point of the ice is lowered by increasing the pressure. If we increase the pressure on the ice, its melting point will decrease. That means it will melt. Means by applying the pressure, we can melt the ice. The negative slope says this. So when we apply the Clapeyron-Clapeyron equation, which is for dp by dt, we have seen in the last module, dp by dt slope. We can apply that for a pure system when two phases in equilibrium. That means Clapeyron clashes can be successfully implemented on any cause. But for these two curves, dp by dt is positive. But for this curve, that dp by dt is negative. Because volume of the liquid is very less than the volume of solid in case of water only. So what is the significance of this? Due to this negative slope, means we apply pressure and ice melts. Ice scatter. They glide across the pond. Why? Because they exert the pressure on their skate and the ice below the skate melts. And that's why they can glide easily. This is due to this. And when we remove the pressure, again the melted ice will convert it to ice. Otherwise, all the pond will melt. But this does not happen. When we exert the pressure on the skate, the ice melts, we slide, and when we remove it or when we go away from that point, then again it will be solidified. Another example is snow. If we press it, we can form snowball. The flakes may melt and we can form ball. If we remove the pressure, again it will go to original phase. This behavior is partly responsible for the movement of glaciers. The bottom of the glacier, it experiences the pressure due to its weight, and that's why its bottom can melt. Some of the ice can melt and the glacier may slide easily. So this is about the significance of this curve with negative slope. Now this is all about these three curves. Now we will discuss about the areas. Areas, it is the region bounded between the curves. We know that in the phase diagram there are three well separated areas: ice area, water area and water vapor area. Now all these areas are bivariant. Means in the area we have already seen that whenever we want to specify or locate any point, we need 2 degrees of freedom. That's why F is equal to 2 bivariant. All the areas are well separated by the curves. Now there is one point, triple point, that is O. At this point, the three phases, that is ice, water, water vapor, all the three phases are in equilibrium at point O. That's why it is known as triple point. There is only one set of condition under which it is possible to have all the three phases coexist. What is that? It is actually 0.0098. 0.0098 degrees Celsius and 4.58 millimeter of pressure. If we change either pressure or temperature, then the phases three phases, one of the three phases will disappear and the system will shift either to any of the two phases. The three phases will no longer exist in equilibrium if we change any parameter. So this point has fixed parameters. That means it is non-variant with degree of freedom 0. Now again, we have discussed about that there exists one more curve OA dash. That is a metastable system. We call it as a supercooled water and vapor. Supercooled water vapor curve. This is the curve in continuation with OA. It represents again vapor pressure curve only, but for a supercooled water. It is a metastable curve. Water can be, this means what? Water can be supercooled. Water can be supercooled by carefully eliminating whatever may be the solid particles forming, they are eliminated and the water can be supercooled. It is unstable, metastable, unstable. On being disturbed or if we introduce some crystals of ice, immediately this supercooled phase changes to solid ice and curve will go to OB. So this is just extension of OA dash. It is unstable. If you slightly disturb the system, it will immediately change to this curve. Now, this is about the phase diagram of water. This all we have seen. Now we will see the effect of change of temperature and pressure on the phase diagram. This is the phase diagram. Now we will see the effect of change of temperature. This is pressure axis, this is temperature axis. Pressure is kept constant. Now we are going to increase the temperature. As the temperature increases, then it crosses from solid to liquid, or it can cross from liquid to vapor also. Pressure is constant. At higher pressure, the transformation occurs at T2. At lower pressure, when we repeat the same step, it will occur at T1. So when pressure is higher, this temperature is lower. Phase transformation temperature, this is lower. Why? Because the line between solid and liquid, it has negative slope. If it has positive, then the case will be different. But now as it is having negative slope, so what is the effect of that? That the phase transformation at high pressure needs low temperature and the phase transformation at low pressure needs high temperature. Now we will see the change of temperature. Now we will see the change of pressure, Now here we have to keep the temperature constant. Now if you increase the pressure, suppose from here I am increasing the pressure lower than the critical, we will cross this equilibrium line and we will go to the liquid step. This is fine as long as gas is below the critical temperature. What? If above the critical temperature, there won't be any line to cross. Suppose I am increasing this temperature here. There is no critical line. So because above critical temperature, it is impossible to condense the gas. If you increase the pressure, you will simply get the compressed gas. It will not convert to liquid. You will simply get a compressed gas. Particles will have too much energy for the attraction to hold them together, but they will not convert. The critical temperature varies from substance to substance. Now lowering the pressure. Suppose we are in the liquid here and we are going to lower the pressure along the line. Now water will freeze. Go to solid line. And if we again decrease it, it will come to the vapor line. Isn't it strange? Means liquid, means water, on decreasing the pressure goes to solid, and solid on decreasing the pressure converts to vapor. But the fact is that. Now we will consider the CO2 system. The CO2 phase diagram is exactly same as that of H2O, but the difference is this curve OC. In H2O, the slope was like this, negative slope, but in CO2 slope is positive, though slight, but it is positive, not negative. All rest of the curves, triple point, area have same significance. What is the difference? That here again curve OA, but here the critical parameters are 72.9 atmosphere and 31 degrees Celsius. These critical temperature pressure are different for CO2. Again, we can prove that along curve OA, it is univariant system. Along curve OB, again we can see. Now, in water system, when we talk about 1 atmosphere, that point lies somewhere here. And 100 degrees Celsius, we have seen that. In the previous diagram, we have seen that this 1 atmospheric pressure, vapor pressure curve and 100 degrees Celsius. But in CO2, this 1 atmospheric pressure lies here. Means when it is 1 atmospheric pressure, we are here, solid to gas. What does this means? We have CO2 as a gas and it would convert to the solid only. It will not go to the liquid phase. Means under normal atmospheric condition, the CO2 can be converted directly to the solid. This phase doesn't exist here. Means no liquid, means dry. And gas to solid means ice phase. We can convert gas CO2 to the ice phase without liquid, means dry phase. That's why we call this as a dry ice. You have heard dry ice. Now curve OC, it is positive and it has liquid CO2 5.1 atmosphere and minus 56 degrees Celsius. Now rest of the parameters are same. Again Clapeyron-Clapeyron equation can be implemented to all the three curves. Here all slope Clapeyron-Clapeyron equation having dp by dt values positive. We know the areas. We can prove that all the areas are univariant areas. Bivariant areas with degree of freedom 2. There is one point, that is triple point. The parameter, the respective pressure and temperature for this triple point are this one. The only thing special about this is that the position of a triple point which is well above the atmospheric pressure. That means this triple point is above this. Our atmospheric pressure is 1. This triple point exists at 5.1 atmospheric pressure. So it is impossible to get any liquid CO2 below this. We have just seen why it is called as dry ice. You can't get liquid carbon dioxide because this triple point minimum liquid, it requires 5.1 atmosphere. Below that, no liquid phase. Again, we will see the effect of temperature and pressure. Now, this is the effect. We can see that again it can go to solid to liquid, liquid to gas, but as it is positive, so when at high pressure you decrease the temperature, you go to T2, and at low pressure you get T1. When pressure is low, temperature is low. When pressure is high, temperature is high. Exactly opposite behavior of H2O phase diagram because this slope is positive. Now see this effect. This is the pressure. If we decrease the pressure, again we can come back here. Also we can cross through the different phases. So we can consider the point at any area or any curve, along any curve, and we can see the effect of temperature, pressure along the curves, and we can successfully reach to the discussion where the phase changes. Whatever may be the area, whatever may be the change in temperature, pressure, we can discuss that and describe it successfully. Now, what are the differences? As we have seen, all the differences also. Phase diagram for CO2 and this is phase diagram for water. Now at points A and D, solid. C, E, F, these are gases and B is liquid. For H2O, triple point is different. For CO2, it is at minus 56.6 and 5.1 atmosphere. We have seen that. And suppose we start from point A. We keep the pressure constant. We warm it till we reach solid liquid transition. At this point, ice starts melting. Further heating, it will again warm. We are going in this region. If again we warm, then we will reach to this point. Further heating will take us here. Now we will start with the ice. If we are here. Now at this point, same step. We are going here. Raising the temperature does not cause them to the solid liquid transition. We are directly converting to a solid gas. Ice evaporate directly into gas sublimation and further heating we will go here. Now for CO2, this line is same, this. For CO2 or other material, more pressure will not produce any additional changes on G. Suppose if we are again increasing this pressure, we will go here from gas, solid, liquid. But in here, we will go to gas to solid, not liquid. And at this point, if we increase the pressure, from gas to liquid. Here, from gas to liquid to solid. So such are the differences of change of temperature and pressure in both the phase diagram. Simply you have to take the point at different location and you have to increase and decrease temperature, increase and decrease of pressure, and you just have to observe where you are going. So now, why are these differences? Why the differences exist? Main is the shape of the molecule and second is the nature of the forces of attraction that exist between the molecule. Whether the substance is a condensed phase, solid or liquid or a gas, it depends on the strength of the force between different molecules. Molecule with stronger forces of attraction between them belong to substances with higher boiling sublimation points. Molecule having strong force of attraction, hydrogen bond, between the hydrogen atom of one molecule and oxygen atom, and the molecules of CO2, they do not have hydrogen bond. They only have force of attraction, weak force known as dispersion force. So water is a condensed phase having high attractive forces including hydrogen bond. Whether a substance prefers to be solid or liquid form, it depends on how efficiently the molecules can pack together in a regular way. So, it depends on the shape and nature of the forces. CO2, it has a shape of cylinder like elongated bottle. The molecule can pack together efficiently. The barrel shape, it is a good one for molecules to pack together. But in water, it is tetrahedral shape. To form the hydrogen bonds, they need to get closer to each other. But there is no way that the structure will bend and it can pack efficiently. So ice is very expanded structure. Hexagonal cage structure, expanded with lots of empty spaces in it. Ice has very much spaces in it. That's why ice is less dense than water. Why it is less dense? Because ice when packed, it has void spaces in the structure. That's why it is less dense. So ice does not form till a low temperature even though liquid water forms at higher temperature. So this is the basic difference between the phase. We have seen in detail the phase diagram for water, phase diagram for CO2. We have seen the similarities as well as differences in that phase diagram. Now, this is about the one component phase diagram. About two component phase diagram we will discuss in the next talk.